All right, 8 o'clock. I would like to officially call the Brimfield Township regular meeting of October 7th, 2020 to order. Roll call for attendance.
Okay, all those in attendance, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
We have a full board.
All right, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we have a moment of silence for meditation or silent reflection, prayer. Okay. All right, we'll start with announcements and correspondences. Sue, do you have any announcements or correspondences today?
No.
All right. Mike, any announcements or correspondences?
I had one lady that was upset that she didn't have enough notice for the Selnick project. She thought it had started all the early, but it didn't. But after I checked with Dave, they did everything right.
Okay.
She was just she was happy that they're finally doing it.
All right. And I don't have any announcements or correspondences, so we'll move on. Meeting guests, no meeting guests today. Meeting minutes. I need a motion to approve the September 16th and September 23rd meeting minutes.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I need a motion to accept today's agenda for discussion.
Second. No, so I move it.
All right, I'll second for discussion. We need some changes to this. Under administration, number 1 is going to be Janie Lane.
Number
Number
2.
2 is SWAT meeting. Number 3 is agendas. And number 4 is goals. And then under zoning and economic development, I need a request for board approval for public hearings. The first one's going to be for 1435 Talmud Road.
Okay.
The second is going to be for 4967 State Route 43.
Okay.
That it?
Anybody else have any other changes or things they need added for approval today? All right. Hearing none,
Okay.
we need a vote to approve with the amendments.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
We need a motion for purchase orders.
So move.
I will second that.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
We need a motion for warrants.
I'm going to make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. We'll go down the list here. Public comments and questions. Sue, did you receive any public comments or questions to present to the board today?
No.
Okay. Mike, any public comments or questions?
Oh, I did have another comment about it. I think I mentioned this to one of you guys about how much this man enjoys being able to watch our meetings.
Okay.
Says they're very informative, and why didn't we do them sooner? But he does enjoy them.
All right. Well, I'm glad that people are watching them. I mean, that's why we did this, and this is why we set it up this way. And I'm glad that people are still able to interact with us in some manner this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just to the public, if you have any questions, comments, please email or call one of your trustees, and we will add that to our meeting and read those during the public comment section. Safety concerns. Have there been any reported safety concerns? Okay. Hearing none, we will move into our business portion of the meeting, and we'll start with the police department. Roy, the floor is yours.
Yep, thanks, Nick. I really only have just a couple of items for you guys this morning. Just wanted to make you aware we're going to have officers at the Portage County Sheriff's Office range for the remainder of this week. We're going to be going through our annual state qualifications this week. That's being coordinated by Captain Atkins, so that's going to get taken care of by the end of the week for that piece. I have one item that's going to request board authorization this morning, and that is the attached to my report. And what I'm asking for this morning is to make some adjustments to the wage scale for our part-time police officer position. The last time we evaluated that was coming up on 4 years ago, and I want to make some revisions to that wage scale going forward for that position. So if you had an opportunity to take a look at that, I could certainly discuss that as well.
Is that starting right now, Roy, or is that it's sometime in the future?
It would start really upon approval of the board to pass the resolutions when it would go into effect. I only have one part-time officer on staff, and she's very sporadic right now anyway, so it's not as if this is going to have an immediate impact. I'm really looking at this more going forward. If we're able to put on a part-time officer, this would go into effect for that hire.
How much of an increase is this from current pay?
Current pay tops out at $19 an hour for part-time, so the adjustment here takes it up to $23. This is also more in line with our collective bargaining agreement that went into place for that last 2-year window since this first part-time wage scale was put in place. I want their pay rate to not be too far behind what we're paying a full-time officer. They're doing the same job. They just happen to do it on a part-time basis, not necessarily 40 hours per week. So it's in line with that. It's not at the same level, but it's much more in line with that.
And is this pretty similar to other departments in the area?
Yeah, I would think there's some similarity there, looking at some of that data. Again, it's not as if we have a significant number of staff, part-time officers on staff. This is really going to have some type of an immediate impact. I'm really looking at it more planning going forward. This is also tied into the recruitment retention piece, just how difficult that is now for local departments here as well as around the state and the country. So we want to have an attractive, competitive wage number in place to affect our staff. So there's a couple of pieces as to why I want to take a look at this.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, well, I think the other piece is they don't receive any benefits, correct? They receive great pay. So
Correct.
We pay much more for our full-time officers if you think about it that way too. And it is a hard environment to get employees. So.
Roy, are you trying to find more part-timers?
I think, yeah, right now earlier in the year, you may recall everybody kind of hit the pause button. We hit the pause button when COVID came about. So we were going to try to look to put on a part-time at that time, and then we froze everything. We just stopped that process. But now taking a look at it, just given where we're at with staffing and what we're going to need for future staffing needs, I just think it's appropriate right now that we look to try to put somebody on staff right now, and even on a part-time basis with the plan to hopefully transition that individual over to full-time going forward when it's economically feasible to do that. But we're losing an officer for military deployment. He's leaving in December, going to be gone all next year. I have Officer Dinkman back in the schools. So I have a couple of officers now that are going to be really off of our patrol schedule. And we just need to try to get somebody on board. So yeah, I would be looking to put on an officer part-time fairly soon.
Are you going to advertise or?
Yeah, we've advertised that before. We'll advertise it again. I've got a couple of applications on file right now.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to make the motion to update the wage scale for the position of part-time police officers for the Brimfield Township Police Department.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? John, are you good with that from fiscal office?
I am, but Roy, can you make sure that's changed on the payroll side over there when it comes through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, John, I don't think I'm sending you anything as far as any part-time employees for officers, because the only officer I have, she's a full-time school resource officer in Garrettsville, and she really hasn't worked for us much really over the last year or so. But the short answer is yeah, I can make sure that gets updated on our end, but we're not sending really anything over to you right now really for part-time officers at the moment.
Okay, that works. Thanks.
You got it.
Any other questions? All right, roll call vote.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, the only other item I had for information was discussion of CARES funds. I know we sent some information over to Craig as we looked at that going forward. I don't have any specific information to discuss with you. We provide that information to Craig, and that's available for discussion going forward at the convenience of the board.
Yeah, I think under admin, we're going to discuss the CARES Act a little bit at that point. I know Craig is kind of the central point of collecting what expenditures we have and then talking about what's left over and how we're going to disperse that.
That's fine.
Roy,
That's all I have for you this morning.
I'll chime in there if you can hear me.
Yep.
I'm going to speak about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Any other questions for the police department? All All right, hearing none, thank you, and welcome back from vacation, Royce. Glad to have you back here. And we'll
Appreciate
move on. Craig, the floor is yours. Fire
Okay.
department.
Again, it's very hard to hear, so I might have to ask you if you say something or speak up to me. For the fire department, really our main focus last week was our community dine and drive. There was a lot of people in attendance. We think we pushed about 200 cars through. My goal was 150, so we exceeded that goal, and I think it was a great event. Your guys' opinion on that?
I think that it was a good event.
It was.
There was a lot of people, a lot of positive reinforcement from our citizens. It was great having the police department, the road department, the fire department there. Every department, their employees interacted great with the community. And really, I think my takeaway from it is we're really excited for the Christmas drive-through now. It was such a great event, but obviously we're going to expect it to be even bigger for the Christmas event. So I think people were just happy to get out of their house was the feeling I got from them. In fact, we got a message from one person who said, thank you so much for doing this event. My mom looked forward to this sausage sandwich all month, and the gift bags were just an added bonus for her. So I think it was really positive for those that have been not able to get out because of COVID.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, it was a good opportunity for the trustees, because I mean, by us being able to walk out and talk to people, you know, even though it was 6 feet, it was just, you definitely learned a lot. So it's all good.
Right, I agree. And again, I wanted to thank everybody. I'm not going to name them by names, but we had almost 100% donation of product for that. So that was the goal, to give a free event, and it truly was a free event for people. So that finished up. With that being said, we're working on a lot of other things. I can talk about the CARES Act now if we want to. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we can have that discussion now.
Okay. So I met with all the department heads. We've been compiling a list of what we can spend the CARES Act funds on. In front of you, Nick, is a agreement that we would like to have with an attorney. What that will allow us to do is if we have any questions on the CARES Act, hey, I want to spend it for X, we run it by the attorney. He says yes or no. He approves it or disapproves it. I think this takes a lot of the guessing game out of it. I know myself, Captain Adkins, have really been pounding YouTube for videos, and it's simple, but it's confusing at the same time, and that would take the confusion out of everything. So I don't know if we want to go forward with that.
So on this, from the Baker attorneys, I thought it was $1,000 flat fee to take care of this. Now it looks like they're charging $165 an hour. So
Yeah,
is there a change
So
to
just
that?
to jump in there, he just gave us an estimate of what the average is going to cost of what he's seeing from people, and that's about $1,000.
Okay.
On our end, to be honest with you, we're going to compile a list, which we've already been working hard on, and we're going to send them one big list. So I don't see it taking that long. I see it taking a couple hours maybe for him to say yes or no.
Well, I'll make a motion so that we can discuss it. A motion to retain Baker, Dublicker, attorneys at law for the CARES Act funding expenditures.
Yeah, I'll second it for discussion.
So basically, they're just going to verify that the spending that we make is in line with the CARES Act, because we will get a federal audit out of these dollars.
Now, where are these? Have we used them before?
I believe this is, Roy, this is the attorney that you use, correct?
Greg Beck?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And he was part of the giving some presentations and working on this CARES Act piece, from what I understand. So he has a pretty intimate knowledge of it.
So can we pay his fee out of the CARES Act?
Yes.
Okay. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
so his fee would come right out of the CARES Act, and he actually created the videos for the state of Ohio. So if anybody knows what to approve and disapprove, it would be him.
And I like the fact from an audit perspective that if he tells us to spend it and we spend it and it's wrong, then it's not our problem. So we'll just go back and say, hey, we hired a consultant that you use at the state, and we definitely need that, because there's a lot of gray area in some of those things, and I'd rather for $1,000, especially if we're not paying it, to let him make the call on that. That would be much better.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, so roll call to retain Baker and Dublica attorneys at law.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Now, Craig, we're looking at between the 3 draws so far to date, we would be looking at about $480,000, $490,000 in CARES Act funding, and I know the departments are working on expenditures for that, for reimbursements, and some of that can be payroll. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, to speak correctly, we're about 113,000 we've actually received, with the idea that we're getting more behind it, but we have not received that yet. So
Right.
we can't operate off those funds yet. We know it's probably coming. With that being said, there's a lot of gray area to police and fire to use for payrolls, for back pay. When the road department was off for the month, that could be used. IT pay. I have a good feeling that we're going to put a list in front of you that's going to spend most of that money.
Just for the board, I just want to toss this idea out too as we think about this. If and when we do get that $300,000 draw that we're supposed to get, that was passed by the House and Senate. We're just waiting for a governor's signatures on that. You can sub-grant on the money, and I think it is an option to look at and at least discuss once we get that funding. The sub-granting can be to assist any local nonprofits, school districts, or businesses that may have been impacted by this. I mean, I know that we could use the money here. Obviously, we want to take care of the township first and foremost, but I think it's an option that we look at how we might be able to have a positive impact on the community that might be struggling too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want the board to be aware of that and to kind of think about that too.
Right.
So any discussion on that?
No, I'm fine.
All right, so Craig, will you have that list most likely for the next meeting then?
Yeah, I planned on having it today, but circumstances didn't allow me to have it. But yes, by next meeting, we'll have that list, and understand that list will grow. For example, IT, getting computer quotes back and stuff's been a challenge. So we'll put rough estimates in front of you. Hopefully, we'll have solid estimates.
Okay. Yeah, because we have to be able to move pretty quick on this too. We have a January 1 deadline at this point.
Oh yeah, I don't plan on giving any money back. $0 back.
Yeah, if we don't spend it, we lose it. So.
And on the back end of that, the people who don't spend it, it goes back into a pool, which then we can request money out of again. So.
Correct. All right. Other questions from people on the CARES Act funding?
I just want to thank all you guys for taking the time to get all that together. Roy, Dave, Craig, thanks for putting all that together. I know that was something that usually goes on the fiscal officer's back a lot of times, but that's a huch project, right? The worst time of the year for me. So thank you guys for all putting together and taking care of that yourselves. Okay.
We'll take care of you, John.
All right. Anything else from the fire department?
No, because that was kind of admin and fire, and I just have one piece for admin.
Okay, go ahead.
Zoning secretary position. We've interviewed 5 for that position so far. We've actually had some very good candidates. Looks like we could have a choice out of those candidates. We literally finished those up yesterday, though. So I always like to sit back and think about them. So I do not have a name to put before you today. But just wanted to update you that it's going very well.
Would the board be available next week if we do have a name? No set date yet, obviously, but
No.
would you guys be willing to meet for a special meeting to get somebody hired sooner?
I cannot meet any day next week.
Okay.
I get too much catering.
Okay.
I'm available anytime.
I trust your guys' opinion.
We're just trying to get somebody in there
Yep.
sooner.
Yep.
It just interviews went till last night, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
And I can talk to Craig and go through the applicants with him. So
Okay.
Wednesday is the best day for me if we would have anything.
Okay.
And then Thursday, but Monday and Tuesday they're not good for me.
Well, let's, Craig, if you can go through it and then get back to us, let me know and let the board know, and then we'll try to pick a date next week if we need to. Or if you guys need more time, then we can push it again, to the following week.
I guess, sorry, it was hard to hear. I'm picking a date for,
We're not picking a date yet. I'm saying once you talk with Mike Ladd and you guys review that, if you're
Okay.
ready to bring a name forward, we can meet next week for a special meeting to hire them. We don't want to wait an additional week to make that hire.
just throwing it out there, and I think we're competent to do this, but do you want 2 names put in front of you guys for interviews, or do you want us to just handle it?
My thing is, I think you should handle it.
Yeah,
You've made good choices, and
all the other hirings that we've done, when the department heads bring them forward, we let the department heads, they're the ones gonna have to work with them.
right.
We let the department heads put their 2 cents worth in and
We've just evaluated in the past a couple of the other hires where they brought the last couple to us and then we.
I think when we get to department heads, that's a big piece, but when we're doing something like this, I mean, we all talk to Craig and John, so I mean, you know, even though we all can't talk together, you know what sort of our feelings,
yeah.
you know, so.
Well, and Craig, you're ultimately the supervisor over the department, so the name coming forward is officially coming from you. So, you know, I mean, Mike Ladd obviously has an input on it, but this is going to be your stamp of approval. So,
Right, okay, I'm okay with that. I just always want to give you guys the choice on that.
okay.
So, and that's all I
Yeah,
have.
I'd like to have it as early in the morning as we can.
Okay. Earlier is always better for me too.
Yeah, that's
So.
fine.
So do you have to have a name in front of you to do the hire, or can we just approve the hire and move on when we're ready?
No, I think we have to have a name in front of us.
We definitely would have to have a name, because even when we hire any personnel, it comes that, hey, we're hiring Joe Blow and effective this date. So.
Okay.
You just need to pick one, I guess, and then bring it back and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and then we'll just have to do a Zoom in, a quick 2-minute meeting at some point to approve that.
Yeah, because we can even do it over Zoom. We don't even have to drive up
That'd be
here. We can just hop online.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Other questions, comments for Craig under admin?
Done a wonderful job.
Also under admin, before we get into the other pieces on the agenda, I did see this email just to let everybody aware. Andrea from Baker Firm contacted me. This is in regards to the Brian Ames cases, case number 491. Court costs, trustees have an unpaid balance of $114.50 on case number 491. And case number 226 is going to be, this is the one we just approved to pay, is $336.50 in court costs. So that's what we owe.
Okay, well, I got from them saying it was only 250 and that's.
250 was it was 250 plus 114 we owed on the first court
Oh,
case.
I guess I didn't see that then.
Yeah, so
We
we
just got a
owe,
check for 250 to him today.
yeah, so we owe him another $114.50 on case number 491. And I'll send this email to you, John,
Yeah.
so you have it.
All right.
And then case number 226 is going to be $336.50. He has already executed a dismissal with the court, so all cases are now closed.
Okay, yeah, just email that over and then, is that from him?
No, this is from Andrea, our attorney.
Well,
She
send
said-
it to me and then I'll copy him in on it and let him know that I didn't realize that and we're gonna send the rest of it next week or 2 weeks from now. But the other one's out there today.
Just sent it.
Okay, thanks.
So they are dismissed.
Yep. That's all taken care of. That's why I wanted to bring it up today, just so the whole board was aware
Okay.
that we've got that settled. It was less than we thought it was going to be too, to settle that second case. So,
Does he still have a lot out there?
oh yeah, with many other townships in the county. He has a lot with the county still. So.
Not with us though.
No, with us, we're done. Everything's closed.
Good.
So, last time I talked to him, he was happy with how Brimfield's operating. So, all right, Janie Lane, Mike, this was yours.
Okay, I've been talking to Janie's sister, Michelle, and you know, they want to do a statue. I don't know if that'll ever happen or not. But the one thing I just wanted to bring over to you guys, I mean, we talked about possibly, you know, I thought about maybe changing the name to Janie Lane from the street that he was on. But then that's such a mess for all these people with addresses and stuff. I mean, what's your thoughts about just putting another sign that commemorates or indicates that this was the street where Janie Lane lived? Just to get, I mean,
So it would be whatever his street was, and then underneath of another sign, and a
Right.
quotation is Janie Lane, just
Right, I
as
mean-
a secondary name of that road.
or John Oswald, I don't know, John,
John
you know,
Oswald.
you know him, so.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea, actually, because when you think you go into Akron, it's the home of LeBron James, and, you know, they put a sign like that, but they don't have a statue of LeBron James there, which we don't
Right.
want to have that. But, I mean, why couldn't we maybe even do that coming into Brimfield?
Well, I thought
Or
about
have
it.
coming into the Beachcrest allotments, home of Janie Lane.
Yeah, just,
John.
I wanna do something, because, I mean, the kid, he was a good kid. I mean, sure, he had the problems, we all have problems.
Right.
But I mean, he's a good kid. I mean, you know him, John.
I did.
And I mean, he made some notoriety. I mean, you know, his music was great. I mean, I've learned a lot from Michelle, and I was never,
I'm a Warren fan.
yeah. I mean, back then I was into Eagles and that kind of stuff. I really wish I would have listened to him, but I just think we need to do something as a town.
But I kind of like John's idea too, and this was something that was going to come up in the goal meeting that we're going to have coming up for next year. And this was kind of a request from Mike Ladd too, is redesigning the entry points into Brimfield on 43, both points, and then both points on Talmadge, and really more signifying that this is Brimfield Township, and doing more of a stonework project where we have a nice sign that says, "Welcome to Brimfield." The chamber would be on there, and other organizations that are, community based that you see coming into cities. And then below that, you could have a home of Janie Lane, or down Janie Lane or
Well, I
whatever.
would be much more agreeable to something like that
What do you
than
mean?
I would a statue, because 50 years from now, when everybody's dead, then that's just gonna, it won't have that much significance.
And all they're doing is toppling statues now, so
Right.
I don't know. I know, I love your idea, but I don't know how quickly that would come to fruition.
Well,
So if
yeah.
we could even just have Dave get a sign made, and we can just,
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
it's
you could
long
have,
overdue.
you could have both of them. You could have it on the street, but I think it would be a nice addition to that
Well,
because,
I like your idea of coming into town.
yeah, because that coming into town, I haven't talked to John about this, but I'll throw him in the hot seat now. This is a project I'd like to see for 2021.
I don't see why we don't do, well, unless we run out of time, but we could do it in 2020. I mean,
Right, I just don't think we're gonna have time to get, because it's gonna be cement work, so we're gonna be working with, because the other piece is, I was just talking to Cassie about this, when we're looking at the park signage down at our parks, then eventually as we update those, it would have that same look, because we've been talking about branding, right?
Right.
So you'd have, when you pull into the park, you'd have that brickwork sign, a smaller version of it, and it'd say Cranberry Creek Park, and have the park rules.
And we
and
could
stuff.
have that on all of our parks, on
Right.
all of our properties, it could have that.
Yeah.
That same stonework,
That,
bigger, or
that
smaller,
Western
whatever it
Reserve
is.
stonework, larger ones when you come in the city, smaller pieces at the park entrances. But now
Yes.
you're branding and you're unifying
Yeah.
everything.
And that's, like we were talking, I mean, I'm just so into this branding thing. I mean, even if it, comes down to like getting Cassie involved with a t-shirt campaign. I mean, we got the t-shirt, we got the flag. I mean, they're
Right.
just stuff we need to do.
We're big boys now.
I know, we just need
Well, and
to,
I think, and it just helps with developers and
And
development when we have that and we need to signify, you don't
Mhm.
know when you come into Brimfield, right?
Right.
So I think it's just
That's
cleaning
true.
those pieces
Well,
up.
the one
would be big.
on coming from Rickstown, I mean, it's just a white little sign that says Brimfield on it, which doesn't,
right.
Right.
I
So we
do.
have those easements, we just need to upgrade them, and that's a piece that, obviously we're gonna have to work with a contractor to get price and quotes on that, but
Well, till then, so we stick to task. I mean, the branding is a big thing. I think next meeting, we really need to jump into it. I'd like to give Cassie a number that she can check into for the possibility of t-shirts.
right.
Because I know we can't make money, but, if you can get a shirt for $5 and charge $10, I mean, it could help go towards the park programs,
Right.
but temporarily, I mean, if we could maybe, let me get together with Michelle. I mean, I don't know what kind of sign Janie Lane hometown or something, but then you gotta also have, John Oswald on there somewhere.
well, you could have John Oswald and then in quotations, Janie Lane, which was the stage.
Janie Lane Warren, of Warren's
Yeah.
hometown.
Yeah, I think that would be a plaque on the entryway, but at the street sign, if you wanted to do the street sign, I think that's an easy piece where Dave would just have a secondary one right
Janie
below
Lane
it and just
Street.
put Janie Lane on that.
Yeah, that was Arcadia, which street?
Yep, it's Arcadia,
Arcadia, yeah.
Yeah.
right at where you get the Duffield.
Okay, well, so how do we want to proceed? Do you want me to work with Dave or?
Yeah, could you work with Dave to make sure that he could do that, put the sign on there, and that will be legal. And then work with Janie Lane's sister again and say, this is what we're proposing. Phase one would be the signage for the street. We're not
Right.
renaming the street, but we're gonna nickname the street.
But
this.
then, well, at the same time, I'm gonna look at, somewhere on 43, both directions, and then on 18.
Yeah, and that'll be a piece that I'll work with Mike Ladd on the entry points. I'll work with him
But I
on
mean,
that.
temporarily, if we would just even get some metal signs that we could put up there next to it.
Yeah, we would just go next to what we already have, the white
Right.
signs. We won't even be able to add to the white signs.
Yeah, I'll stop and look at it sometime.
I think all this together is a good thing. I mean, to get him out there,
Yes.
we recognize it, but then I think we definitely need to put you're coming into a great town, and this is a nice, great sign that you see when you come in, a Stoneware, and we're not little Brimfield.
Well, there'll be people that don't like it or don't agree with it, but, it is what it is.
I don't think they asked people though, when they put the home of LeBron James coming into town, I don't think they asked anybody, so, yeah.
What Janie Lane did was significant,
Sure.
so.
I wish I was in a rock band. I wasn't. Mike was.
We'll start one. All right, so do you want to work on that?
Yes.
And then, do we need a motion to do that, or do we want to wait and do that the next meeting once you get all
Well,
the approvals?
I don't think a sign would cost more than $100 to at least put on the street.
We don't even need to have it. It's gonna be less than, I can write it. It's not a
Okay.
big deal. It can just come out of it's a sign from well, let's make a motion so that nobody comes back and says Dave went ahead and did this on his own. Just say we gave the approval for Dave to go look into the cost of Janie Lane signs coming into town.
And possibly get one made.
And if it's over the cost, I'll bring it to you, which it's not gonna be. And if it's under, I'll just.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we acknowledge Janie Lane with a sign on his hometown street.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? And this is just gonna be for his street right now, then we'll work on the
Right.
other project. All right, roll call for,
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
yes.
Sue,
yes.
motion passed.
Thank you.
Next up on our list, we need to finish up this SWAT process. We started it, COVID messed everything up. I met with Todd Peets. We have scheduled a meeting. So everybody that can be there, we would like to have them there. It's going to be for Friday the 16th. So next Friday, John, you should already have this on the
Okay,
calendar. We had
okay.
talked, yep. The meeting's gonna be at 9 a.m. and it's gonna be at the community center. It will not be a public meeting because this is just information gathering. But we will have a SWOT analysis meeting at 9 a.m. At the community center, all department heads. So police, fire, roads, parks, and zoning and IT should be there. If you can make it for the board, that'd be great. If not, you can zoom in too, or we can get you an update report afterwards. I know you have
Can I
to go.
pound chicken down there? Well,
You can just pass it out. We'll all help.
it's
Well, we got
raw.
a grill down there. We start
raw.
cooking,
We have scheduled this from 9 a.m. till noon. I don't anticipate being there till noon, but if we have really good discussions going, we want to continue that. The goal of the meeting is this. We're going to review everybody's SWOT analysis that they sent me. All right. So I'll send that an email to everybody for the department or for the trustees. We're going to do a township SWOT analysis. So we're going to take all that data and figure out what our strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are. And then we're going to start goal setting for 2021. Because part of this document is we're going to have 2021, 2023, and 2025 goals set by the first of the year is what we're pushing for. And this will all become an interactive document for the community too. So they'll be able to go online and see what we're working towards and where these improvements and things are going to happen. So this is all part of that 5-year plan.
Mhm.
So we're going to get that moving early this year with the 16th at 9 a.m. at the community center because we can space out more there. And then we can also zoom in if we need to.
Coffee.
Sure, we can get some coffee.
Happy Van Winkle.
We may need that for lunchtime. All right, any questions on that meeting? All right, department heads, if you can't make it, if you could send a representative, that would be great, so that we can have these discussions, or you can zoom in. Number 3 under admin, we had agendas. Mike, you wanted to talk about agendas?
Yeah, I just, I'd like all the department heads to list, stop with just the report. Because there are people, when we open again, that are gonna look at this and this tells them nothing. I mean, we can take an extra 10 minutes out of our day, and when you send your reports over, please just list what your items are. So, I mean, this to me is a waste of paper. There's not one thing, one deed to sign. So my motion is that we start requiring department heads to list their agenda items. So I just need a
Hey,
second.
Mike. Hey, Mike, it's
Yeah.
Roy. I'm already doing that in my report. Is there something different that you need that you're not getting?
Well, I don't know. This is all I see. So maybe it's with the person that puts the report together. So however it works.
So I guess here's the problem.
Well,
I don't know if you
it's-
have it in front of you, Roy.
Did
but
somebody second this?
Yes, you
I
did.
did.
The agenda that we get, all it's saying now is they just list the departments and it says receive report. This is all the public gets to see. They don't get to see your actual report. So we just need to figure out from the department heads what action items they want listed under their department. And maybe it's something that we got to work with Rochelle too to figure out what you need taken off of this report and put onto the public document.
Okay.
So that the public,
Who generates that agenda report for you?
Rochelle.
Okay.
So maybe that's where we got to stop.
Well, she can look off if she gets the reports, she could actually look on the reports and pull those things off. Because you list them as items out there on your report, right, Roy?
Yes, I note informational items and I note items that require board authorization.
So the board, she could look at those items out there.
So I think board authorization for the PD just needs to go on there. But for like road department, all we get is just kind of like a few words on that piece. So we got to figure out, do we want all that listed under road?
Not
Just the
some of
main
those
items.
things.
I just think it's not fair to the public when they come in and that's what they see.
Right.
And I mean, technically, way back when, I thought these used to be put up the day before the meeting so people could actually see these. So if there was something they wanted to see, they could go through the agenda and then they come in. But now that people can't come in,
Right.
but there will be a time when they come in. And if we get these out maybe even a day ahead, who knows? Maybe you'll get a call or I'll get a call that someone wants to know about this.
Right.
So that's just my thoughts. I just want to be a little more, make the public a little more comfortable with what's going on. I mean, if you saw that, what would you do? Back when you were running for trustee. Yes.
There is no information on it. We used to get more information on it.
So do we want to make the motion that we want to list all action items? I mean, because when you look at Dave's, there's nothing out there that's action items at all. I mean, those are.
Well, I think it's action items and any topic of discussion. Like if he's just giving us update, hey, I'm doing ditching and burning, that's not a topic of discussion. But if he says, hey, we're looking at, there's a problem with Selnick Road pipe and we're going to have to do major repairs to it, that's a topic of discussion.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll just make it easier.
Okay.
And I would like to, if possible, I know we have to make changes, but to have them come out the day before. If they can put them on the website.
Craig, Craig, are you out there?
I'm here.
Do we have everybody get them in by a deadline?
I usually have them in by Tuesday at noon is our deadline.
Can we bump it up to Monday by 4 so that Rochelle has time to put it out there on Tuesday?
Sure.
Okay. That work?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Then she can list it out on Tuesday and then you read it at night if you want to come. Because obviously if we do it any earlier than that, we're going to get here and there's going to be 50 changes to the agenda.
Right.
'cause it
Well,
just all-
we'll have to amend the agenda.
Right.
And there'll still be amendments to it, because that's why we had it Tuesday at noon, because things change right up to the last minute.
We have a motion on the floor.
Yes.
We do. We're going to move to change the style of the agenda to list out subjects on the agenda of action items and topics of discussions. That work? Okay. Those in favor, Mike?
And they'll be in by Monday.
Oh,
That's right.
Hey, Nick,
Yes.
could you, since I'm not there today, could you just follow up with that with Rochelle on the way out?
Yep. I'll talk with Rochelle today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
4 p.m. on Monday. Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
All right. Anything else under admin? Oh, I have goals. Just a reminder, everybody, that we did set goals at the beginning of this year, every department. I will be sending that PowerPoint back out to everyone this week. I want to, so we can have an update on where you are in your 2020 goals at our next meeting. So if each department can just give us an update, how close we are, or what's happening with those goals this year. So I'll be sending that out for the next meeting.
Should we, should that be one of the discussions at the SWAT meeting?
No, because this is stuff that it's active stuff we have going on now.
Okay. All right.
All right. Anything else under admin?
Very good.
All right. If not, we'll move into zoning. Mike Ladd was not able to be here today. He was off work. However, I do have his report, so I will work through this for the board. Number one, I would like to make a motion for a public hearing on 4967 State Route 43 regarding unsafe structures. I need a second.
I will second that.
So this is going to be a demolition hearing. We already made the motions to demo those properties, but they are the property owners are asking in writing to us to have a public hearing on that. They'd like to discuss that. So this is 4967 State Route 43. Okay. Any discussion on that?
What date do we want to do it on?
Let's just do it on the trustee meeting on the 21st. Can we do that one at 7 a.m.?
Okay.
All right. Roll call.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And then John, I think we got this all worked out yesterday, but your department will be the one advertising it in the newspaper, correct?
We are, but what we're gonna make sure is we're gonna pass all that on to Mike first, so he can tell us if it's legitimate that we need to do anything, and then he's gonna tell us.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go from there.
So this motion here needs to go back to Mike?
No, because we already talked, I know about these already. We're
Okay.
gonna advertise these.
Okay.
But any future, like if somebody drops, we only ever got one letter dropped off to our office, but even that letter, I wouldn't have done anything with that yet, because I didn't even know what it was. I'd given it to Mike. And
Right.
then, because he's in the middle of it every day and.
But no matter what, Mike will bring it to, I'm just to make sure we got the flow down. So Mike brings it to the board, we make the approval,
And then we
you
advertise.
will advertise it from that. point.
Correct. But
Okay.
he'll be the one that schedules them
Okay.
at the meetings.
At the meetings,
Yeah.
but then after the trustee meeting,
We
you
advertise.
guys will advertise it. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
That might have been a slip on our part because we did have the other one. It was out there, but I wasn't here last time, and Kirsten's just learning how to do this stuff. So
Right. Oh, no, there's no harm, no foul. I
Oh,
just
no.
want to make sure that that we're
Sure.
all on the same page.
We
Because
are.
I was confused by it too.
Okay.
So, all right, I would like to make a motion for a public trustee hearing on 1435 Talmadge Road regarding unsafe structures for October 21st at 7:30 a.m. This is another, or we'll talk about it once I get the motion.
I need a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
So this is another one where we had already proceeded with authorization for demolition, and they are asking for a board hearing to discuss this.
Okay, we all good?
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Number 3, Menards. This is just public information. Menards opened on October 5th, so Menards is open and active. They, their department store manager made the decision to forego any grand opening due to COVID. So they just did a soft, quiet open. Their doors are up and running. So we encourage public, stop out, check it out. They are open. I will run up this week and probably do a video. Virtual zoning commission meeting is scheduled for October 8th at 7 p.m. Virtual board of zoning appeals is scheduled for October 21st at 7 p.m. The Sunny Hill Villas is still under construction. They've made a lot of headway. I drove by that earlier this week. It's looking pretty nice over there. The comprehensive land use plan community survey is now on the website. I would like to talk about this for a moment. Please encourage all residents to go to our website. There is a link to do a community survey. It asks about all of our departments. It asks about the comprehensive land use plan. This is based on the feedback we got from the department heads. This survey is going to be up for 6 weeks, so we got about 5 weeks left before they close that. Once they have all this data, they'll present the findings back to the board.
Okay.
For those residents that do not have internet or can't utilize it or don't know how to do the survey online, it's through SurveyMonkey. Rochelle has paper copies at the front desk. They can fill them out and then she can turn those in.
I'll get some of those to
Yeah.
pass out.
So if you want to get some, make some more copies. So we did do a paper option too. They'll just have to get manually entered. So this is pretty excited for this. We're going to run this for 6 weeks through SurveyMonkey. It's pretty simple. I took the survey the other night. It's really easy to go through. You just have to make sure you answer all questions. Otherwise, it won't let you submit it. Hickory Creek PRD was approved by the BZA. However, it needs to go to regional planning now, so it is sitting with them. We're waiting to hear back about that.
Where is Hickory Creek? I'm drawing a blank.
That is the Sugar Maple extension.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize that's what they named it. Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't. There was going to be Sugar Maple too. There was a bunch of name
Okay.
pieces that happened at the zoning board there, but it's Hickory Creek. Redwood at High Point Hills has submitted their site plan for their zoning certificate. So it looks like Redwood is moving forward. That process is moving pretty quick over there.
Well, where is that at too?
High Point Hills, I believe that's going to be the one, Green Hills Golf
Green
Course.
Hill?
Yep. So Redwood was the first point, and then we'll have a housing piece coming in soon for that too.
So the redwood is the
houses that over on.
They call them
Pleasant Lakes.
apartments, but they're houses.
so they're pretty much hooked together.
Yes.
It's going to be similar to Pleasant Lakes on how you come into those, and then there's houses, and then it's going to be
Are
a.
they still having that piece in the middle where they were going to do, what was it, assisted living or?
That's the idea from last I had heard. So they call it a circle of life community. The idea is that you're going to have houses, full-size houses that you can buy. And then from those, they have redwood in the back. So if you can't take care of your property, it's an easy place to transition to. So you stay in your community. And then there's an assisted living home that you could transition to. And it keeps families closer together. So if your wife or your husband, you can't take care of them anymore, they're just, a walk
So they're going to be building the back section first? Is that what you got from?
I haven't seen the drawings, but the last drawings I saw, which was about 6 months ago, yeah, it's kind of showing the back section and then it'll wrap around with houses with the center. But those drawings could have changed, so don't hold me to that.
This isn't made to be a joke, but when you said circle of life, I talked to Mike the other day. We definitely need to get some of that land over there for extension of our cemetery, being the circle of life. That hill
Right.
that comes down there, I don't know. I know we could fill that, and part of our cemetery now is fill.
Well, but there's some concerns with that, and so Craig is working on that.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have something for the next trustee meeting.
I just don't want it to skip by, and then all of a sudden we're stuck and didn't get anything, and now we don't have anywhere to bury.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a discussion about what we could maybe ascertain for land. The concern is with the fill, and Craig said he had to talk to Dave to confirm this, but with the cemetery, it's either you can't have fill or fill has to sit so long before you can bury in it. So there's concern with that being a dumping ground for fill. So that's what we have to figure out.
The where the Pioneer Cemetery is, going down the hill to where the
Yeah, that's Phil.
police,
That's all Phil.
that's all fill. But
Right.
unfortunately, they filled it with concrete, and you can't bury anybody because it was not clean fill.
Right.
But I know there's companies around town that are begging for places to dump their clean fill. They just don't have anywhere to put it.
Well, so that's what we have to figure that out. Is there a settlement time for that? That, change, things could have changed from when the Pioneer piece was put in till now, rules, regulations. So we got to figure that piece out before we.
Well, and just so you know, cemeteries can be considered green space as well. So instead of them putting a little, park that no one's going to use on the other side of the housing development, I'd much rather them give us that land for the cemetery that would connect to our side of it. So, because I bet you we got 15 years at the max left in our cemetery over there.
1,500 spots left.
So-
No, maybe, I don't know, I'm just saying, maybe we start looking eventually for another cemetery.
Well, we're going to try this option first.
There's a
So-
lot of land that we could get right off of that, but they might be able to donate as their green space
Right.
that we could just, and that could add another 30 years to the cemetery.
Mhm.
Right. So there is discussion with
I
it.
just don't want it to be skipped over and then all of a sudden they're building and we can't do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Nope. Because the one from we had talked last week, I'd already
Okay.
called Craig and put that on the
All right.
agenda. And then just updates on fees, permit fee reporting, zoning year to date has brought in $108,000. Fires brought in $14,000 for a total of $123,000 in fees. We're looking to surpass last year's fee generation. Part of this is because we added fire fees, but also the building is, even during COVID, the building process is just been going strong here in Brimfield Township. All right, so that's for zoning. Road department, Dave, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Just want to let you know we've been doing some dirt patching, some asphalt patching, a little bit of ditch and berming, plus road mowing. Right now we're working on the foundations in the cemetery to get ready to pour them. Selnick Road culvert, they should finish that up today with the final coat of asphalt on top and stuff. And Malloy Road culvert replacement has started today. So Malloy Road is closed now around Klein Road. And still working a little bit on them easement right of ways with the county as they're back way up. So we are getting somewhere finally with that. So should have more information in the next few weeks. And other than that, that's about it.
Hey, Dave, I just had a quick question for you, and maybe we can talk later if you don't have the answer now. I see that you purchased N95 masks for the road department.
Yes.
Is that for COVID or is that for other reasons?
It's kind of like we couldn't find a mask to do saw cutting of asphalt and concrete when we're out working on things. So it's kind of a little bit of both, for we have the protection of the mask, but also for out on the job sites.
All right, did you get your guys fit tested for those N95 since you're saw cutting?
These are just your everyday ones you buy at the store, like at Lowe's and stuff.
But do they have an N95 rating on them?
Yes.
Then they have to get fit tested for saw cutting with those.
Well, on the box itself, it explains how you set them, because it's just a fabric. You know what I mean? It's not your hard plastic ones.
Yeah, no, I know, but still, you're required under PERP to make sure they're fit tested. And this is for all the departments. Anybody that's wearing the N95s for protection have to get that fit testing done.
How do you do that?
So there's the local Achmed facility like SUMA or Cleveland Clinic or Akron General here will do that. They just go in, they put them through a test to make sure they can wear them and get a tight seal out of those masks. Because those cloth ones, Dave, if it's not a tight seal and it hasn't been done that way, they still can get that silica dust in their lungs. And silicosis is a huge issue for PERP and OSHA right now. So those guys need to make sure they're wearing the right size mask and it fits properly. But because we're using it for COVID too, we could write off those expenses under COVID to get the fit testing done.
Sweet. One more thing.
Yeah,
That's good.
so I just saw the purchase order form. So not to make life harder for them, but we need to make sure they fit right, because that silicosis we found over the years has been a big health issue. People are dying from lung cancer at the end of their careers because it settles in their lungs, that dust from concrete. So we'll need to work on getting that done sooner than later.
So can you give Dave, you'll get Dave some numbers or some direction so he can look?
Yeah,
at
I would say, Dave, if you could work with Craig, because Craig has to get his guys fit tested for their respirators anyways, but we might as well just keep it all under the same person. Same company.
Is it worth, I mean, you see all these different masks out there. Is it worth buying them some really good masks with the filters and stuff? I mean, is this some kind of equipment they should keep?
I mean, the N95s are fine because technically when he saw cuts anyways, there's a bunch of rules that we've been working on with safety, and we got to get that safety committee going again. But because of silica, he's supposed to wet cut anytime he does work. Okay. And if they got to wear masks beyond that, then they have to have at least an N95 rating and be fit tested. The other piece is, even though it's a cloth mask, it does filter out 95% of the contaminants, which means it's harder on your lungs to move it. So your employees have to be medically cleared to wear masks too, because you can create health issues such as heart issues and those sorts of things.
Is there another mask other than the N95?
Yeah, there's dust masks, but dust masks.
Higher rated than that? Or
Oh yeah, there's an N100 too.
Okay.
And then you can get into SCBAs at that point too.
Okay.
But N95 is industry standard.
All right.
All right, yep. So Dave, just make sure you get with Craig on that and you guys can figure out who can do the testing for you.
Hey,
And it'll
Dave,
be good.
Dave, I went down and looked at that. They did a great job of that culvert. I mean, you guys see the pictures I posted, how big that thing was?
Yeah.
My God, I mean, those people should be so appreciative what you did down there. And we did have a lady that asked that we would do more pictures for the Malloy Road. So Dave, like you did last time, can you maybe take some and let me know when I can go down there?
Okay, yeah, like I said, they're starting today. They were mainly going to unload pipe and then get things set up to get going on it. So I don't know if they even start digging yet down there.
Okay. And then that person from Omni, I'm telling you guys, it is such a good piece that we did by having somebody like this watching our projects. And number one, it helps Dave, but that guy is there the whole time during the project.
And he's sharp too.
He is. I sat and talked to him, man. He explained stuff that I never knew.
Right.
But I mean, before we used to do these projects, and nothing against past supervisors, but this guy knows exactly what he's doing. And so everything's getting put in the right way. And I know it costs us money, but in the long run, it's saving the township money.
Sure.
Anytime we can use somebody like this, it doesn't have to be OmniPro, but I know it helps Dave.
Well, he's a professional in
He
what he
does.
does, and that's what he does all day.
And he doesn't just sit there. He's actually out there watching it. And
Right.
I mean, it is a good feature. Just so you guys know, it's a good feature.
Hey, Dave, how long do you expect Malloy to be closed down there?
Between 5 and 7 days. Let's just say a week.
Okay.
There's a few more pieces that go on down there. I mean, it should go quicker than Selnick, the pipe, but there's guardrail and stuff like that. It has to be added.
Just know that's a more highly trafficked, area than Selnick was over there tonight.
Right, but there is plenty of road close signs, detour signs, people, it's all set by the county. So the
Okay.
detour, everything's in good shape.
Good job.
All right, any other questions for Road? All right, thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Parks and Rec, Cassie, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be back.
Welcome
And
back.
ever since I've been back, I have been very, very busy with Christmas stuff. So I'm working on the community Christmas drive-through. I'm emailing everybody, asking for community support. If any community groups want to participate and you're listening, please contact me. We sent out flyers at the Drive and Dine. And I heard Mike talk to everybody in line about it. So hopefully everybody heard about it. And then also the township lighting contest, I am working with the Ritztown Chamber to hopefully do a collaboration with them. And I'm going to have some more information to post on our website and social media at the end of the week. My next item, I wasn't sure if I needed board approval for this, but I put it on there anyway. I wanted to approve the 7 selected candidates for the 2021 Parks Advisory Committee. I've included a list of the names and a brief summary. And I wanted to add this would be pending a background check for all candidates.
So it's all 7 of these?
Yes.
Okay. This seems like a great list of people out here.
I was very impressed. We got a great response. I think we got 10 applications total, and they were all really great. But this is my list.
Cassie, out of these 7 people, how long of a term are they going to serve on the committee?
I think we said a year. We're going to reevaluate every year.
So could we split this list with a 6-month term and then a 1-year term, and then at the 6th month we could reappoint them if we need to? But this way
Sure.
you have a rolling calendar so that we
Don't
don't
lose the whole
lose
board.
the whole board at one time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Would you be comfortable with just kind of splitting it down the middle and saying the top 4 are going to do a 1-year term, and then 5, 6, and 7 will do a 6-month term, and then we'll reevaluate it at that point?
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's nothing against, I mean, I think they could all do a 1-year term, but I just want to get us into a rolling calendar so that you can
Right.
never lose a whole board or a whole committee at one time.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve. We'll do these as 2 motions. So the first motion to approve David Johnson, Gary Pierce, Ben Mars, and Kim Schumann to a 1-year term on the Parks Advisory Committee pending background investigation.
I'll second.
What does the board think? Is everybody comfortable with these?
Mm-hmm.
I think this list is great.
Good
I mean,
idea.
you got a lawyer out there, you got a bunch of people that have been on historical societies, you got people that have been on, I mean, you got Eagle Scout out, there's a lot of great pieces to all those people out there.
I was very happy to receive applications from a wide variety of the Brimfield citizens. There are people that have been here for less than a year. There's people that have been here for 40 years, and just from all different backgrounds and education. And I think it's gonna be a really great board.
Okay. All right. So the motion on the floor is for the 1-year term first. We get a roll call.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Then I'll make a motion to appoint Renata, thank you, Boyd, Vince Vigalucci, and Janice Tabbs to the Parks Advisory Committee for 6 months pending background investigation.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion
Is that-
passed.
Cassie, is Vigalucci, is that any relationship to
Nick?
Vic?
I'm actually not sure. I would think so. It's a pretty unusual name, but
Well, they're both attorneys.
Yeah.
yeah, that too. Maybe it runs in the family.
And Vic's a very good guy, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so now how often are you gonna meet?
I think once a month.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. I'm anxious.
Me too.
Can any of them use a chainsaw?
I think Ben Mars probably can.
We'll have to talk about that from a comp standpoint.
Safety committee.
I can bring my chainsaw with me.
Oh, well, we still gotta talk about that.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I would like to hopefully have a informal meeting virtually at the end of the month to just kind of go over some homework for them. I'd like them all to visit the parks on their own time and just kind of give me some feedback on that. And just go over when we're going to meet and details like that. So.
Are they gonna help you with things like the Christmas celebration in the parks, or how?
Yes.
The lighting? Okay.
Yes, that's my goal. Whether they know it or not, I'm going to tap them all to help with the Christmas event as their first foray into the parks world. So hopefully at least some of them will be able to make it.
I had a lady ask me about our boo in the park. Is somebody starting rumors?
I have not heard of a boo in the park.
No, we did, well, past 2 years, we've
Yeah,
done
no,
a
we talked
fall.
about it. That's all I said.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, we've done a
Oh,
fall.
the Fall Harvest Festival, yeah.
She thought was under the assumption we were doing something on our trails. And I know we had talked about that a few years ago, but it's too late now.
Yeah, we talked about it last year for
Yeah.
this year too, but because of COVID, we canceled
Right.
the Fall Harvest Festival.
Right.
Maybe next year we can see that again.
I thought, I'm uncovering something in my brain. I thought maybe a scout group was considering doing that. So maybe another group was thinking of doing it. Maybe it wasn't through the parks, but
Something. I mean, I remembered us talking about it, but
We were trying to bring somebody in, like a scout group or a chamber group, to run it, to do a family-friendly haunted trail through the woods as part of the Fall Harvest Festival, like have that all happening at once down there. But obviously with COVID, we're not doing anything
Right.
this year.
right.
We can run around in the woods if you want.
sure, anytime. All right, and then my last item, at the last meeting, we discussed fencing for the playground at Lions Park. I haven't really had a lot of time since I got
I have
back
a
to
number.
research.
I have a number for you.
Oh, sure.
This guy just did my daughter's house, and he did a wonderful job.
Okay,
It was very affordable. So I will text that to you, and you can follow up with them.
okay, awesome. So yeah, I've just been researching different options and getting quotes. I was talking to the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association to see if they had any recommendations for fencing, and if there's any like safety guidelines that they could send over for me. I discussed with Mike Ladd yesterday, getting a permit from him And I went out there and measured, and I'm trying to get a good measurement in considering design for the addition of future park equipment there. So, yep, and that concludes my report.
All right, good. All right, thank you so much. I'm excited to see what this Christmas event looks like, and welcome to all of our new advisory committee members. That's exciting.
So do you make the new park board? Do they have to wear costumes?
We can make a motion right now.
It's like joining a fraternity.
Right, a little initiation. They could be the elves this year.
Maybe next year we'll gently
I
let
think that-
them join us.
Yeah, she's even wearing green.
Cassie,
Yeah,
I have one more thing if I could jump in right now.
sure.
This is kind of for the Board of Trustees, Cassie and Dave. I've had an email and they're not complaining about the soccer fields, but there's so much goose poop on the soccer fields that teams are requesting to move somewhere else because the kids are sliding in it. I don't know.
At the
which-
soccer fields on Kelso.
Right. They come out of the retention pond on the other side of
Oh,
the drive and they scatter the field. I have no idea what to do about that. Any suggestions?
It's
that's a really difficult thing because
His house, he knows how to do that.
We can't put an electric fence around our field.
That's our retention pond, right?
No, that's the one for the neighborhood on the other side.
Well, you could put a fence around the whole thing, and that because if
Yeah.
the geese can't get on the shore, they don't like coming there.
Okay. We have about 20 days left in the season till it gets bulldozed and reshaped, but I assume we'll have the same problem.
okay, I can research some options for that.
I've done them all.
I know. I have too.
How to cook it really well.
Yeah, you got to get a gator, and when they start coming out, you drive around that pond like a freaking crazy lady.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. They're not, like I said, not complaining, but you know, kids slide.
Don't get fake coyotes, because after a while they sleep right around it. And those floating geese, they don't work either.
Right.
Not the the swans or whatever they are.
Little gators running around there.
There is a product which you can look at too that you sprinkle on the grass,
Okay.
and they eat it, and it gives them. It's not harmful to them, but their stomachs hurt, and then they won't eat that grass anymore.
I'm looking for ideas because I have no idea what to tell them. No, that's it.
And then just so if you want to spend the money, you can get the service of a guy that has those what are shepherds or those what do you call them? There's a certain dog breed that they will schedule regular times where they come around and they walk their dogs and they scare the heck out of the geese. And that's been effective on some country clubs.
Huh. I have heard of that.
Out there, but it's something you have to do because the only way you get rid of the geese is by them feeling threatened.
Right. Well,
You are allowed to. There's a certain way that you're allowed to shape their eggs to keep them from. Because every time you have a goose nest and they have them, those goose will come back and come back and come back. So, but you got to do everything according to the law. So, because they are a protected species.
it's something, we got about 20 days left on the soccer season here.
Right, we can't do it for this year, but next year we really need to put some kind of program together.
With that being said, we are going to reshape and seed those soccer fields before winter hits this year. So I'll be bringing that back to you guys.
I know when we really ought to talk to somebody. I mean, if there's a way when we're reshaping them, I don't know if you could, one guy told me that he put a barrier up out of dirt from his pond. I know you gotta I don't know. He put a barrier up because geese don't like to walk up a pond. They're very lazy.
But the pond isn't on our property. They're crossing the street, it sounds like.
Is that what they're doing?
But that would keep them from, well,
No, yeah, I see what you're
if they
saying.
don't want to climb up over into the soccer field though.
I think it's more getting out of the pond. They don't want to do that. So we gotta be careful how we slope things too, because then we're gonna get into zoning and,
It's gonna flood over there.
yeah,
Another issue.
Yeah, I never thought about goose.
right?
They are terrible. Terrible.
Well, let's start exploring some options and then we'll go from there. Craig, are you gonna get prices, since you're getting ready for shaping and reseeding, are you getting prices on the electric and water then too?
Yeah, I Crano Excavating's the one that's going to do the excavating for us. So I don't see any reason why I wouldn't go directly back to them to see what the electric and water tap fees would be. But I
'Cause
also,
we talked about for the electric, if we can get that done before this holiday Christmas festival, we might be able to set up some decorations there too with that power line.
I don't know. I don't know on that. I know I have spoke to the road department members and they have some ideas on doing some of that work themselves. And if we can do that, great. I have no expertise in tapping into water lines and electric and how that works.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right, anything else for parks?
Nope, that's it.
Cemetery, we had one deed to sign today.
All done.
All right, fiscal office, do you need anything?
I've got a comment I'd like to make about the
Oh, yeah,
cemetery.
go ahead.
I just have a thought I would like to share. You know, where the Pioneer Cemetery comes down that slope and that's all filled
Mhm.
and it goes to the police department. Okay. I had a thought that in the future that we could put a wall, like a decorative brick wall. Cause you're not gonna bury anybody there in the ground because of all the fill. And then use that as a place to put cremations in little boxes. And that way that part could be used, that part, since we're gonna run out of space for the cremations, you put these little, I forget what you call them, columbariums or something, but it's just a little box and you can put your remains in that little box and make that like a box, a wall with those boxes there that people.
So you're saying by where the dirt piles are? Is that what you mean?
You know, where it's all filled in with cement,
Between the
we could
cemetery and the
bulldoze
impound lot.
that some way, shape that and flatten it up
I think
to
that's
make a wall
I
and
think
then put the decorative, maybe a decorative bricks in there and then and put a spot there to put,
But they'd have to have a door on it. They're not gonna let,
well, no, they're individual little doors where the urns go in.
I like that idea.
Well, and then that actually separates the police department impound lot from our
From the
cemetery.
I like
cemetery.
that.
That's just a thought to throw out there.
Yeah,
that-
you're gonna run with it?
Well, I could.
Yeah, I mean, I would reach out and see what the rules are about having that, like,
Have-
you know, because it's not like in an enclosed building, right?
No, it's not
open.
it's just a wall where these little boxes can
Does
go
it
in.
go
and
into the
urns-
wall?
The what?
The box goes into the wall?
It could.
Yeah, I'm
Then
picturing the wall that has the boxes cemented into them and you open a door, you push it in the wall.
So it's
and
not
it
sitting
closes.
inside the wall on the ground, it's getting pushed inside the wall with the door and then it locks or whatever, right?
Right.
Or cemented shut?
But I'm sure there's different ways that you could do it.
And you'd have their name on the door.
Yeah, out at the Rittman where Tom is, they have the boxes and they're actually like 3 or 4 high, but they actually become a place where you can sit.
On their boxes?
Mm-hmm. It makes like a bench. that
They
you-
have a thing like that now out at Standing Rock as well. They have doors to put them in. They put them all up next to the river there where they can't bury anybody. They just put them all right there.
I like the
So,
idea.
I mean, yeah, I would explore it, see what the rules are to have it put in, and then we go from there to get like a
Well, we
rough
just-
design idea.
So we just hire someone that works with concrete instead of having, because then it seems like whenever we go to a funeral home to get something done, it's expensive.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is, I think we could come
I
up
think we
with
could find
nice
a contractor
design.
that would do it, but I think the first step is down to the state of Ohio, to the cemetery board.
Yeah,
to see what
Ohio
their-
Cemetery Association.
Yeah, see what their requirements are on the wall, and then from there you would start looking, talking, just verbally talking to a few contractors to see if it's something that they could do, and
Yeah.
then we would get it drawn up. from
Yeah, I
there.
like that.
All right,
But
that's
then
a
it
thought.
should
I would
go, it should go along the whole edge of that to separate it to the road. That would be, because that kind of is weird how it just rolls right off of there into the impound lot, which is nothing against the PD, but it's a bunch of beat up cars in there and you're right next to grandma who got buried.
you know.
Right, so it would be nice to have a dividing line.
Yeah. You could even have a small walkway in front of it and plant some flowers in through there and dress it up a little.
I mean, do any of us ever go to the old cemetery?
About a year ago is the last time I was over there.
We really gotta go look at that once in a while. I mean, it's such a large part of Brimfield and it's totally ignored.
Right.
Rochelle and I went there not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, for us to look at it, I mean, maybe I need to go over there and do a video since it's close to Halloween. But it's a lot of history over there.
Right.
You know,
Do we have are there any more spots over there?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Dave. Can't say I got that number. I'm gonna send it to you. Dave,
I'm not wanting to
Dave,
start anything, but
Hey, Dave, are you there?
if we needed land,
Dave,
for
are you
somebody,
asleep?
is there land there to buy?
Right.
I think Dave's gone.
He's there.
Oh, I'm here.
Tell us about that cemetery. What do you know?
I was just told we weren't allowed to put anybody over there from years back.
Oh, okay. I mean, do you think there's more spaces?
I truly don't know. I have never looked into it. I mean, that was more of kind of a Gendy's thing and that kind of stuff. I never really paid much attention other than mowing and taking care of it.
I mean, how's it looking?
Oh, it looks all right. I mean, there's a few issues like what we had at the Pioneer one where there's headstones falling over that we got to straighten up and stuff, but.
I mean, just if you're looking at it, does it seem like there's extra space?
Well, you're only talking a quarter of stuff people buried up at the beginning of it, and then you have all the 3/4 where there's nothing there.
I know what I thought I heard was back when they were building 76, that maybe some of the stuff was moved there, buried there.
See, I could not tell you. I don't know none of
Another
it.
field right next to it too, that's nothing in it. If we
I
ever
know.
needed to move, have an additional place to bury people, you
I
can.
know, I don't know how we'd find out. Maybe Dave, if you get some time, could you look into it a little bit? With the people you know?
I can look into it or try to talk with Rochelle some, because she might have some of that stuff on her data on her computer. Because she does, most of the cemetery plots and stuff, so.
Okay. Okay, I mean, it's a neat little historical piece. I mean, maybe it'd be a nice time to do a little video,
Right.
Okay.
All right. Fiscal, anything, John?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
No executive sessions, anything for the good of Brimfield Township?
Everything we did was
Oh,
good
trick
for
or treat.
Brimfield.
What's that?
Trick or treat.
Yep.
I
trick or
bought my
treat.
candy. I'm ready.
I'm coming over to your house soon.
Okay.
I bought my one piece. I'm ready.
All right, need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 9:17 a.m.
Perfect.
Great meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Grand time was had by all.